Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Brev. Welcome to What Would Brev Do, episode 12. This is the series where I, a top 50 player, play an entire game from start to finish and walk you through what's going on in my mind the entire time. If you enjoy the series, please subscribe for more MLB The Show 20 content and drop a like on the video. Helps me out a ton. So this is part 2 of our 3 videos debuting all of the new 4th inning program bosses. In this one, we're going to be debuting Jacoby Ellsbury. Card looks really nice, especially prestiged. He's going to be holding down left field for us because we can kind of hide his weak arm in left field. And he's going to be batting in the 2-hole for us. This is how our lineup is structured, pretty similar to what we've been doing recently. Still working on a lot of prestiges with some of these guys. So while I get into a ranked game, just wanted to say I am sorry again for last episode, episode 11. As you guys, I've been telling you guys, I'm moving, and so I literally only have tonight to record. I just finished playing that game from last episode, and I apologize that it wasn't the best. So if episode 11 was the first one you've seen from me and you managed to make your way back to this one, please understand that's not typical of my content. If it were different circumstances for me, I would not have posted that game. But given that making a Felix Hernandez debut was really important to me and the situation that I'm in right now, and I definitely don't want to miss any upload days, it kind of just had to be that way. So I'm sorry that the game was the way it was last episode. Hopefully we can get something a little better for you here. We are the home team again. We're going to throw Kyle Wright again. We did a Kyle Wright debut several episodes ago, and it ended up being not a very good game either. The guy rage quit in the 3rd or 4th inning and was throwing a position player as a pitcher by the end of it, so figured I'd give him another shot, and it was a good opportunity for him to pitch considering we're mainly debuting Ellsbury in this one. So we're the home team. We're debuting Ellsbury. We're playing at Date Palm. I pretty much exclusively play my home games at Date Palm now. I have a really good friend named Slugger in the MLB community. So if this is him, we'll friendly, but I don't know what his gamer tag is. I say really good friend, but I literally don't know what his GT is. But yeah, I like Date Palm. It seems to not have as many issues with good OKs for home runs as Ship It, and it has less issues of good OKs for outs than some other stadiums as well. So I could be wrong on that, but that's an accidental absolute dot to start the game. The best worst pitch ever thrown. But early in the game, we're just trying. I always talk about how I hit in the 1st inning. I've never really talked about how I pitch in the 1st inning before I can figure out where my opponent's bat speed is at. Usually I pitch with a rocking chair in the 1st inning, and if you don't know what pitching with a rocking chair is, or pitching to get your opponent in a rocking chair, it basically means going fast, slow, just constantly changing it back and forth to in effort to keep them off balance. And it seems to be working so far. He was late on a fastball, then early on a changeup. We'll double up on the off speed here, and we get the strikeout, but he's gonna be safe at first. Biggio doesn't miss that ball too often. That's pretty unlucky there. Biggio actually plays pretty good behind the plate for me, so unfortunate. You guys already know that a home run is coming now, so I will just say I apologize for starting off the game down 2-0. I don't know. Maybe we get out of it, but that was tough. We also need to vary our time to the plate here because Mickey can definitely steal on us here. And getting out of a double play situation is really good for him and really bad for us. So we can hold him at first just by not being autopilot and coming home to the plate at the same speed. We can do that, but really amazing sequence from Kyle Wright there. One of the main things I love about Kyle Wright is his control, especially early in the game when he has full energy. I feel like I can dot really well with this card as I throw 2 straight balls, but comparatively, especially comparatively to other Future Stars pitchers, I think Kyle Wright's control is really good, and I enjoy him. So I definitely don't want to walk Reggie here, so we're just going to go after him. We hung a changeup. I typically like hang off speed in 3-0 counts early in the game because sometimes people are sitting fastball or just taking. So 3-2 count, he should send the runner here. We're going to try a low fastball. He did not send the runner, which is definitely a mistake. Misplay by him. Let's see if he doesn't do it again. Yeah, he's not sending the runner, which is just a baseball mistake. In a 3-2 count, With 2 outs and a force out in play, you should always be stealing. You can lightly tap the trigger to make sure he doesn't like hardcore steal. You just want the runner to be in motion as soon as the pitcher comes home, because there's no downside to doing it. There's no bad thing that can happen. Of course, if there's a force out play. If you have a runner on third and a 3-2 count with 2 outs, do not send the runner. Because if they walk you, you're just going to get tagged out at home. But I'm sure a lot of you guys know that playing this game at a high level, but just throwing it in there, it's a little bit of a mistake from my opponent. I don't do these videos to criticize my opponent. I just wanted to point that out so that you guys watching could learn that if you didn't know already. So let me swing at this pitch, and then I will once again go over my approach early in the game. Is that fair? Nice. Late good for a double. Let's go. Yeah, my approach early in the game is typically being super patient, but this is actually already a great time to swing away. If he gives me something juicy to hit here. Runner in scoring position. Ellsbury crushes righties. Looking to hit here. But typically, in the first inning, I'm hyper patient, almost taking till 2 strikes with pretty much every hitter. Ellsbury up the middle is going to get an RBI single in his first at bat. I could have definitely sent him to second there too. It was really close, and now I know the tendency that he will throw home on a close play and give me that base if it happens again. So nice job by Jacoby. Nice little 1-0 lead already. Jacoby's swing is amazing. I honestly think all 3 of these bosses in this program are good. I'm going to steal here because he's not varying his timing to the plate. We're doing exactly what we were trying to prevent ourselves by stealing on him there. You could see he was coming set and throwing at the exact same pace the first 2 pitches, and so that made it really easy for us to steal on the 3rd pitch because we could kind of time up when we took our lead. Can definitely tag up to 3rd here with the 96 speed as well, and that's huge because now a ground ball or a deep fly ball will get that run home. So again, we're being aggressive here because we have a runner in scoring position with a good opportunity to drive him in. So there's a time to be patient. A lot of that time for me is when the bases are empty or when I'm trying to feel my opponent out. But already you guys can see I'm swinging away in this situation, and Mickey literally hit that out. As I talked about Date Palm not giving up bad, good, okay home runs. Well, I will take it. But yeah, this is actually a really good gameplay already, especially for those of you who watch this series religiously, because I'm playing. Those first 4 at-bats were pretty much entirely, well, not Biggio, but the 3 after Biggio were pretty much entirely opposite of what I typically do in the first inning, right? I often describe my approach as very assertive. I'm totally down to fall behind in the count and be patient and work the count, work the pitch count and everything until I find an opportunity where I can pounce, whether that be runners in scoring position and I have a handedness advantage, or I just think overall it's an important spot in the game. That's when I kind of flip the script and try to be more aggressive at the plate. And so the 2, 3, 4 guys in this first inning have all had the opportunity where I felt like it was correct to be aggressive rather than passive. So I know I take a lot of pitches for strikes that you guys probably swing at and that you cringe that I don't swing at, but honestly for me there's a time and a place, and that's how I hit. So it's paid off so far for me for sure. Hitting a late good double to start the inning off always helps. I can't say that was the product of my approach. That was just luck. But here's another opportunity to be aggressive, man. He can't find the zone, so it's a little iffy. That probably was the pitch, so that was a mistake not swinging there. Let's try to be a little more aggressive here. But this is yet again another good opportunity to swing away. With a 2-run homer from Thames is good there, but that was completely disgusting pitch. Wow, that was very early. You could not have walked that slurve to the plate any better. Yeah, but I don't know, man. The way the vibe of this game is going, I just feel like swinging is good with runners on right now. But we're down 0-2 regardless. Was about to say he'll probably double up on that slurve because that pitch was the most foolish I've looked all inning. Force him right down the middle and I missed. Feels bad. That's kind of the upside of throwing 4-seamers with sinker ballers. I say it a lot with relievers, like when I'm pitching with Raleigh and stuff as well. But throwing 4-seams can be really effective against people who... he's going to intentionally walk me here, by the way, or he should. But throwing four-seamers against people who seem to be on your sinker is a really good approach. If he doesn't walk me, I'm being so aggressive here. Alright. I was off it with my PCI, but I honestly needed to be hyper-aggressive in that at-bat. In my opinion, like, it worked out for him because I popped out, but in my opinion, I would have intentionally walked Didi there 100% because it gets my pitcher up. I had runners on second and third there. Even a single makes it 5-0 already. I think that was a bit of a misplay for my opponent. Again, I'm not using this series to criticize anyone's gameplay. I'm just trying to portray my own gameplay, but if it were me, I definitely would have walked Didi there because that was a scary situation. Hung the changeup right down the middle on an 0-2 count. That is what you do not want to do. I really should have buried that there. I kind of aimed for the corner. This guy hasn't proven really to be able to hit pitches on the corner, so it's possible that I should try to pitch a little more conservatively and try to throw maybe a little more balls. I talked about it 2 episodes ago, but I have a tendency to throw too many strikes at times, especially when facing opponents that are struggling to hit, as this guy seemed to be in the first inning. So now that we're ahead in the count again with count leverage 1-2, we're just going to throw this straight into the dirt and see if he bites. Hopefully it doesn't hang down the middle. Missed our spot horizontally, so now let's try to bury a slider instead. Throw some waste pitches at a guy who seems to be struggling at the plate, and we get the K there. So that's definitely what I should have done against Trout, and I got punished for not doing it with him taking me deep. Obviously, when you throw a changeup right down the middle in any count, you're asking for it, but honestly, that was a misplay by me. I should have never thrown the changeup anywhere close to where that ended up in that situation. I should have buried it like I have been. So yeah, he punished us for a good swing. Punished us for a good swing by Trout here. Kind of going back to the rocking chair thing here as well. I feel like he's still struggling to hit a little bit, and I can't really figure out where his timing is. And you can see he kind of overcompensated there. So I often talk about overcompensation, picking up on your opponent's hitting tendencies, where their bat speed is at, all that. The at-bat before, he struck out on a slider below the zone, and then the second pitch of that at-bat, he swung and missed at a changeup way below the zone. So he kind of tried to make the adjustment and be a little more patient there. And we ended up being able to paint the fastball inside on him. So there's so many mind games that go on with pitching and pitch sequencing that it really takes practice and just being conscious of what you're doing, what you're portraying, how your opponent is trying to hit. So I don't know if I always do the best job of explaining that while I'm pitching, but I'm definitely trying. With our pitcher up early in the game, no one on base. Oh my god, I almost just went yak with Kyle Wright. Absolutely no reason to swing before 2 strikes, in my opinion. The only time you should swing before 2 strikes with your pitcher is if there's a runner in scoring position and you're anticipating them to throw you a cookie down the middle. Otherwise, you can use the pitcher spot as an opportunity to work the pinch count higher and try to pick up on your opponent's tendencies and work out your timing there. So my timing feels good right now. That was 2 really good swings from Kyle Wright, which is always a good sign. And now we're back to the top of the order. We've hit really well. We put up a 3 spot already. And now I imagine my opponent would continue to pitch conservatively to me here. Try to pitch on the corners, not being disrespectful as we always talk about. You can see he started with slurve cutter this at bat, which implies that he is, I don't want to say pitching scared, but he definitely doesn't want to throw me something in the middle because I've proven that I can hit it already. So usually when people are pitching disrespectfully, especially with Kluber, that often involves just like sinkers right down the middle, cutters right down the middle. Here you can definitely tell his preference is to try to work the corners and not get beat right now. So this is where it's incredibly important to remain patient and try to work some walks, try to work the approach here. I tried to sit back on that, but I was under it. Before he threw that pitch, I wanted to say that was a really good spot to remain hyper patient. If that was honestly coming in at a tunnel towards the corner, I probably would have taken it with how he's pitching, because it's entirely possible that in a 3-2 count there he just throws me a ball, and I need to be able to take that ball if he gives it to me in that situation. So there was a cutter right down the middle, so we'll see if he's adjusting now. Yep, 4-seamer right down the middle. So now you can see he's made the adjustment to pitch a little more disrespectfully, try to counter my patient approach. And next inning we will keep that in mind. Pretty good swing by Ellsbury there, honestly, despite the pitch not being in the zone. So we will put that in our bank. We didn't score. We didn't get a base runner that inning, but we got a lot of information, especially with how our opponent's adjusting. And we got Kluber out of the game after 2 innings, which is always a plus. Getting the best pitcher out of the game, or in the game, out of there with only 2 innings of work is obviously a plus for anyone. It's debatably correct for him to do that. I don't know how his pitcher energy is looking or anything, but I do know people tend to, if Kluber's getting beat up early by someone, I've seen a lot of people pull him early because then you can save the stamina and just throw him in the next game against someone who's maybe not hitting as well against him. So I definitely get it. It's a pretty common strategy that I've seen people do recently. And he's adjusting to the rocking chair now, so he was late on the changeup. Whenever people are late on off speed, that implies that they saw it really well. So I tried to change it up and go to the fastball there, and he was right on that. If his PCI was a little better, he would have crushed that pitch. And so he's adjusting to my pitch sequencing now. I can tell by his swing timing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doubling and tripling up on pitches. Instead of pitching in the rocking chair, going changeup, fastball, slider, sinker, sequence like that, we're just going to relentlessly throw off speed in one at bats, and then the next at bat we're going to relentlessly throw hard stuff. Just try to keep him off balance. Dude, Biggio is having a rough time this game. Holy crap, dude. Oh, he's got more base runners from strikeouts than he has hits. This is a tragedy. Okay. Let's figure it out. Is Ellsbury going to make this play? No. Alright, well, this is very unfortunate. I really want to go back to the off-speed here, but it's possible he's sitting on it. So this could, if I don't have my spot here, this could be bad. I need to throw one off-speed for a strike in this at-bat just to see where he's at. And his bat's still really fast, so we're just going to stick with the off-speed. This is a really high leverage situation. I don't know how rattled he is or what his mindset is at, but when people are behind or rattled, they typically don't make adjustments when they're hitting. So I'm just going to keep throwing slow stuff and hope that he doesn't make the adjustment. I definitely don't want to throw it there, but I also definitely don't want to walk him here. Going to the slider one more time, and I think he was a little early on that. We'll see where he was. Just early. Got pretty lucky striking him out there. So he did end up making the adjustment by the end. So now we're going to go back to the hard stuff. Throwing fastballs to Reggie is so scary. And now you can see his bat's slow. So we'll bury a changeup here since I've been kind of doubling, tripling up on stuff. He's proven that he'll chase it so far. Good take by him though. I'm going to throw it again just because I didn't exactly throw it where I wanted. I again didn't throw it where I wanted, but you can see his bat's fast again, so let's go back to the rocking chair approach since he appears to be making adjustments, and we just paint him up and in with a dot. Kyle Wright's so much fun if you can get the confidence up, dude. I swear he can locate anything if he just gets high confidence early. Alright, so Kluber into Hal, pretty good stuff. We can hold our 2, check Hal's energy. He's about 80% energy, so there's not a lot we can do to kind of work him down. Hal can easily throw like 100 pitches on 80% energy, so yeah, we're not getting him out of the game anytime soon. But what we can do is remain patient in our approach, try to work the count, try to get some base runners on, and keep this train rolling. He is still pitching pretty careful. Those were 2 really good pitches. But at the end of the last inning, he started pitching disrespectfully, so we'll see if he goes back to that once he gets like a handedness advantage or something. 3-2, he could definitely throw me a ball here, so I got to be patient. He went fastball inside, and we just turned on it. Is that gone? Pretty bad PCI. But yeah. I didn't know what he was throwing there. That was purely reactionary. I'm sorry, I don't have any pro tips for you guys on that one. I will say facing Hal, especially on Hall of Fame legend, it's really, really important to just get reps against him. All of the people that I know that say they crush Hal have been like hitting against Hal since like the second week the game has come out. So if you struggle against Hal, I know it's kind of out of your control. You can't really control who your opponent throws at you, but in good time, you too shall crush Hal. But back to back to start this game. If I get another short one, dude, I'm gonna be so sad. But yeah, he loves going to that fastball in important situations. We may just swing first pitch here too. The reason I wanted to swing first pitch, again, Hanley crushes lefties, but he may be frustrated with his pitching performance. And sometimes when people are frustrated with their pitching performance, they just start to throw you cookies just because they're pissed off. I can't believe I hit that pitch out. My mechanics are so good right now. This is completely opposite game of what you guys usually see from me. But you can see there, he's tilted. You can tell by the way he's pitching, comparatively to the way he was pitching earlier in the game, that he's tilted. He's kind of just lazily throwing things in the zone. He's not really throwing waste pitches. He's throwing a lot more fastballs than any other pitch. So what we can do is try to capitalize on this tilt by pouring the pressure on. Now's not really a good time for our patient approach, I'll be honest. There's a lot of good times for our patient approach. This is not one of them. I smell blood. I want to pounce on him. I want to keep the pressure on because honestly, let's say I put this one over the wall with Thames and it's 4 home runs in a row. We could be, at any given moment, we could be looking at a rage quit, especially considering this is a guy who has already, I missed that. This is a guy who's already proven that like he's going to pull Kluber after 2 innings because he wants Kluber for later. So I don't know. It is a win condition to get a rage quit here. I don't know if we will, but that's what I'm playing for. Unless he starts pitching like super conservative like he was. If he gets untilted, which he may be, or he just can't locate. I'm going to take this pitch just because it's 2-0 and there's no one on base. If we can get to a 3-0 count, he'll probably just walk us. So, alright, good pitch. Now we're back to swinging away. Probably another fastball here. It was not. It was a changeup. So we're very early on the changeup. I expect him to double up on that based on my tendencies. He did. I was just late on it. Great location. But yeah, we pretty much knew that he was going to do that. This guy, so he's gotten me to look silly twice. Or had a very early / very late swing against me twice this game. The first one was with Thames in the first inning when I struck out on that nasty slurve low and in. Immediately doubled up on the slurve right afterwards to the next batter. So when I was very early on that changeup, especially because 2 of the 3 home runs that I've hit this inning have been off fastballs, I was 100% expecting him to double up on that. And now you can see he's kind of preferring the changeup as his go-to pitch. I would not be surprised to see it yet again here. It was a slider, and I missed it with my PCI a little bit, and it was early. But really good inning. Back-to-back-to-back off Hal. Worked him for 28 pitches. So this guy's actually in a tough spot with his energy. If he can't get something going offensively, and I put up a couple more runs, like if this gets to 8-1, 9-1, 10-1, it's debatable to swallow your pride and kind of just dip out before you use your bullpen arms or use more starters or stuff. Completely subjective decision to make there. Not the typical objective advice that I talk about, but sometimes it is correct to quit, given that energy stays from game to game with your pitchers in MLB The Show. So he's late on a changeup. So that implies he saw it well. As I always talked about, last time in this situation I went to a 4-seamer up and in and he turned on it, so I'm just going to double up on the off speed here. Try to counter that tendency we did earlier. His bat is still slow. I'm going to stick, oh, he was early on that a little bit. I'm going to stick to this slider yet again. I think he's waiting to make an adjustment here, and he's itching for me to throw him that juicy 4-seamer up and in that he just missed with McCovey. I was wrong. Good on him. Trout's got 2 home runs against us this game. Trout's so good, man. You get Trout up against a righty, he's probably one of the best hitters in the game. So now I'm going hard stuff, which is a mistake. Yep. So that was a mistake. I knew it as soon as I pushed the button, but I did it anyway. Remember what I always talk about with your opponents overcompensating? He took me deep on off speed, so it was pretty much a guarantee, unless I was consciously thinking about it, that I was going to throw hard stuff after giving up a bomb with the soft stuff. So my mistake there. We need to start gearing him up a little bit more. Now that he's had success hitting the changeup out, throwing the hard stuff seems to be the move. since he has made an adjustment, and he's late on all 3 of our hard stuff that inning. So we will see if he adjusts yet again. I'm going to keep throwing him the hard stuff until he speeds his bat back up, and then we'll go back to the soft stuff. Again, we are just playing games with his bat speed, trying to throw the timing off. I'm actually going to throw the sinker below the zone. If he's aggressive, maybe he'll chop it at someone. That's nowhere close to where I wanted the pitch, so it's irrelevant. Now he's warming someone up, so Hal's gone as well. If he doesn't hit into a double play here, which obviously it's correct to pinch hit because he's losing by 4. He needs the offense. His win condition is catching up. So leaving Hal in would be super greedy and probably a mistake, especially considering there will probably be runners on when the 9 hole gets up. Go high and in slider here. Dang, nowhere close. You could debatably throw a ball here. I just really don't want to walk him, so I'm just going to give him a sinker. Look at Thames. Not going to get it done, though. Good effort, man. He was pretty much always going to swing at that pitch, so maybe I could have buried one on him and he would have swung at it, but I don't know. A walk's pretty bad there. We also want to start warming someone up. This is getting a little hairy for us despite our lead, because if Olsen takes us deep, it's a 1-run game all of a sudden, right? So, but you can tell he's a little anxious at the plate. He's swinging at stuff that's not in the zone early in the count. He's being aggressive with the sinkers, so I'm going to try the sinker low one more time, see if we can get him to chop it for a double play. It ended up in the zone on accident. Accidental dot. Let's try to get it a little lower here. Beautiful pitch, beautiful take. That's amazing by him. That's pretty much exactly where I want that pitch to be. Now we'll go change up inside, since I think he'll probably be geared up for the fastball, and he was. So I hung that like crazy, but we guessed right on his bat speed, so we got bailed out there. So we just need one more out to get out of here. Again, I just made a mistake throwing off speed first pitch there. I just struck him out on off speed. It's implied that I would double up on that. He really didn't send that guy home. I wonder if he'd have been safe. It was close. But yeah, I definitely should have started him with the hard stuff here. So now Mickey Chef. Mickey's the tying run. I'm going to leave right in. This is pretty greedy. Yeah, it's really greedy actually, but I don't know that I feel good about anyone pitching to Mickey right here, so I might as well leave the starter in, and if I get out of it, then I have some bullpen advantage moving forward. But all of a sudden, from this rally from my opponent, this is getting really hairy, and I definitely don't want to throw a pitch there. Thank God he was late on that. Try to get this inside. Jacoby, please. Yes. What a debut for Jacoby. Oh, he was late on that, so we should have gotten an out probably. But man, what a hairy situation that turned into. Now we're done with Wright. Wright's at almost 70 pitches, 80 pitches. He just brought a reliever in, so we're guaranteed handedness advantage here. No need to get greedy just because we're up by 4. If he would have been slightly early instead of late on that last pitch, it would literally be a tie game. So we're not gonna risk anything. We're also gonna go to Chapman next inning. Sheffield obviously crushes lefties, but in my opinion, Sheffield crushes everyone. I would much rather have the lefty versus Jackson and the lefty versus Trout, because Trout actually has reverse splits and hits lefties worse. So we are into his bullpen after facing both Kluber and Hal. I'm gonna go back to being patient here. Folk is more of a finesse pitcher, and from my experience, people typically pitch pretty conservatively with finesse pitchers, right? It's a little harder to be disrespectful by just throwing stuff down the middle, assuming your opponent won't swing. It's a lot harder to do that with someone who throws a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, right? So typically with guys like Eckersley, Folk, Hoffman, people are trying to be on the corners rather than right down the middle. So I think a patient approach is really good against pitchers like that. Slider down and in. That was an absolute rocket right at him. 106. Did that even get 10 feet off the ground? Dear Lord. Alright, well that was a great at bat. There's nothing we can do about that. We were just barely off of it with our PCI, and we were just early, so we can call that even for maybe some of the home runs I've gotten earlier in the game where the PCI wasn't quite there. But again, we're just sticking to our approach here, man. You can see he's pitching on the corners, except for that pitch. I was fully prepared to take there, but that's the issue with slow circle changeups. So the reason people didn't like Hoffman, some people didn't like Hoffman the last 2 years, is because if you miss your spot with that changeup, it is so easy to read out of the hand and it just gets demolished. So I was fully prepared to be patient there, but it just floated right into the middle of the plate. I could not resist. Great pitch from him there. Great sequence. We may beat this out. We're going to beat it out. Dude, Jacoby is putting on a clinic. That was the worst swing ever. All right, Sheffield up. Again, we're being patient. Folk is actually a really good pitcher to steal on as well, again, because he doesn't throw hard and his delivery's pretty slow. So again, he's not varying his time to the plate, so I'm getting huge jumps at first base. You can time him up by holding steal and then, well, not holding, but pressing steal. Hold on one sec. You can press steal, and then as soon as they bring the ball up, like as soon as they select their pitch, you can hit L1 to take a lead. And if you're taking a lead while they come to the plate, you actually get a speed boost for your stealing. You get a bigger jump. So that's how you time people up if they're not paying attention to their time to the plate. He threw me another changeup right down the middle. It's 9-2. This is getting ugly, man. But again, we can't. He might be done. I was gonna say, yeah, GG's. Man, another short one. At least this was better gameplay and a lot more informative than the Felix episode. But I just dropped my controller. Yeah, what I was gonna say, being up 9-2 there. So I talked about not wanting to get a little complacent because we were only up 6-2 and he did have the tying run at the plate the previous inning. Being up 9-2, after that I was actually going to sit Chapman down and warm up a starter. I think it's important to save bullpen energy for close games. If it's kind of a blowout game and you must change pitchers, like I pinch hit for Kyle Wright that game, so I had to put a pitcher in, I would just go to a starter there as kind of like a long relief option. I think it's really important to not blow bullpen energy in games that aren't really that close because bullpen energy is so fickle this year. Guys get tired really fast and they recover pretty slow out of the bullpen. So I was prepared to go to a starter there, and that's what I was going to talk about. But put on a mechanical clinic there, obviously played against our usual approach in the first inning. I think this was a great counter, a way to watch me play a little bit different while still trying to stay inside of myself. So I think this was a really good episode. Hopefully this makes up for the Felix one, man. I'm really sorry again. Gonna record episode 13 right now, the Joe Torre game. If you guys have made it this far, I love you so much. The support on this series has been unreal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. I'll see you guys in episode 13. Peace.